Welcome to the Next Level Faith podcast. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland, best-selling author and life coach for ambitious women of faith. Join me each week to learn more about the strategies, tools, and mindset needed to arise from the overwhelm and create a joyful life you love. To learn how you can work with me further, grab your copy of my best-selling book, Arise and Shine, or check out how you can get your ticket to my next Awake conference or retreat. Head over to juliannekirkland.com. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, because the best version of you begins on your next level of faith. On today's episode, hear from Jennifer Watson, who is a speaker, agent of change, vitality, plus high-performance leadership coach and integrative practitioner. Jennifer's true passion is working with ambitious and conscious leaders to create their true wellness by breaking free permanently of their core wounds and blocks, to expand their leadership by fanning their unique influence so they can live the soul-aligned life that they were created for with ease and flow. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hey, welcome back to the Next Level Faith podcast. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland, and I'm so excited to share my new friend, Jennifer, with you today. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me, Julianne. I'm so excited to be here and just share with your audience some hopefully epic information.
Yeah, man. Okay, so she's been a TEDx speaker, and I was asking her right before we hit record of like, what was that next level faith moment like? And then she just started going like, okay, wait, we gotta go. Like, we gotta get this on because it's amazing. So Jennifer, share with us, like, what was your first big experience with that next level faith moment for you?
For me, Julianne, I'm going to be honest. We've all had these moments, right? Where we're being pushed, where we're getting kind of pushed in on all sides of us. I believe God allows that to happen for us to really learn and grow. And many people out there, including me, have those first moments happen when we're hitting a really dark side, a really deep, dark side where I had to literally, it was a do or die moment. Like, am I getting myself out of this? Am I going next level in my life? Am I trusting you, Father, that you've got this? And not only from there, what tools you're going to give me to help me go to that next level. Yeah. Side note, before I go through that part, I believe sometimes as believers, we're in a dark space and we use sometimes prayer as this kind of easy way out, like, God, come down and save me. Yeah. And I'm not saying, by the way, I believe in miracles. I believe God does that, but I also believe in this day and age, God finds that we're going to be able to go to the next level more powerfully when he opens up opportunities for us to step in and take action. Yeah. To go next level during darkness. And by the way, anyone that's been there, guys, it takes a lot of courage to do that. And my next level faith really started when I had a very deep, dark moment. I struggled, most of my early life, like teenage years through a lot of college, depression, more than anxiety, but severe depression. And the irony is, Julianne, I was the textbook student, straight A student. I was a great athlete. I had great friends. I had a great family. I was born and raised in a family of faith and love. And I was struggling with depression. And I became more struggling in it because I had shame around that, right? I believe Satan uses shame to kind of keep us from going to that next level during our dark moments. But it was just pummeling, and I was still very successful. I was an All-American in a track, it continued in college. And I finally had that deep, dark kind of fall face plant come to Jesus moment where I was literally on my kitchen floor contemplating what day I would take my life, that maybe it should be after tax season when, the paperwork is done. So it'll be easier on my family. And that's when I stopped myself. I'm like, wow. This is a really messed up brain. I'm a practitioner by trade, and I do a lot of mind, body, soul work. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is a really messed up brain, one. And two, I have an opportunity here to believe that God doesn't want me here. I can't imagine that he does. And right at that moment, go figure, my mom called me. My family never knew that I was struggling this much with depression. And she asked me, how am I doing? I said, I am doing horribly, Mom. I'm about to take my life. I mean, I literally went there and we had a conversation, and I ultimately ended up having a conversation with my entire family around a kitchen table. And let me tell you guys, it was so vulnerable. I was like, they're going to reject me. My family didn't understand mental health. That was when it was a little bit taboo. They didn't know the resources for me, so it was uncomfortable. But it was my first step, courageous, vulnerable step to get help. And I'm telling you, everyone, what God showed me was not a miracle right that day, but the miracle was, Jennifer, now that you've taken this step, next level courageous step, now I'm going to show you people, places, opportunities to heal your brain and go to the impact I created for you to be in this world. Let's begin my journey, Julianne, where I did it. And what you guys, I went balls out. I'm a high performer, so nutritionist, I changed my diet, counselors, coaching. Some of this didn't work. I had to fall down and then try some different things. I had to educate my family on mental health. They were a little bit, you guys, I had moments where my family didn't support me. They didn't understand it, and then they came back around. But I knew within my heart that I had to do it the way that God wanted me to. And I just went all out with mind, body, soul work. I got into physical therapy, but into physical therapy where I looked at the patient and my own journey in a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical sense. I took courses on mental, emotional integrity, stabilization, and it began my healing journey. And go figure, my healing journey allowed me to have empathy and tools for others that had that.
Yes.
They're like, I have back pain, but I have depression too. I want to be next level, Jennifer, but I struggle too with this. So it really allowed me to be empowered by going next level first, by healing myself, and then transcending, and actually, go figure, helping others that were struggling with it to do the same. So that's where my pivot point started, Julianne, is we come to Jesus on the floor where I knew it wasn't right. And God's miracle to me was like, now I need you to step in with action to the people I'm going to send you to heal your brain so you can do the things you can do and do the epic things to help other people in the same position.
Yeah, man, and that's so good, Jennifer. And I think too, a part of, what the enemy and our perception of what society is looking is that shame is to hold us there, right?
Yeah.
Because the enemy knows that once we get through it, right? And we have to go through it. It's not like we can avoid it and go around it or go under it or go over it. We have to go through it. And it is on the other side that we are able to use that journey through it to propel other people as well. And that's why he wants to keep us stuck in shame. And he introduces so many different avenues to increase that amount of shame that we hold on ourselves. And so once you got through it, were there because there's also this like false belief that once you've gone through it, it'll never happen again. Like you're just good to go from there. So like, did you encounter any other times where you felt yourself starting to kind of go back, that go back phrase?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, everyone. I think sometimes we think once we've, quote, healed an area of our life, as we continue to grow and evolve, old triggers, I call them triggers from your past, whatever the trigger is in your life that activates, like, have I grown? Have I gotten past this? Something comes up and by the way, side note, everyone, I have depression once in a while. All of us do, whether it be something that truly makes us sad because something happened in our world. I've learned tools to rapidly transform me back into an aligned state. So that's something we even go through today. But all of you, I want you to know, even if you have healed something fully, you're going to be activated, triggered throughout your life. Life is life. So having tools to armor yourself, to pull yourself back into alignment is key. I will say this, yes, as I started my PT practice, I opened in 2008 recession. I was sexually assaulted by a man, and some of that pulled back into my depression, pulled me back into anxiety. Like, can I do this? Am I worthy? Am I worthy to get what I want? So there's been things that have happened through my life that naturally would pull me back into, am I worthy? My depression, was, am I worthy, even with all the stuff that I'm doing? And through my tools, I learned ways to see the truth, see behaviors that were aligned with where I want to go, move me back into great space. And people often ask me, like, is it physiological? Is it environment? Why your depression even started all the time? Because I have people all the time that haven't had depression. And I know you can get this, Julianne. that they're like, all you people that have depression, that are high performers and successful, why do you have depression? You guys, that answer is probably a whole nother podcast. But I will say this from a very young age, as a twin, and many of you know that twins are studied all the time to look at genetics versus environment. Every child pulls in information differently,
Right.
good or bad. And it's not about ripping on your family dynamics, just good and bad. We pull in information from a very young age. My twin sister was sick, so I didn't get a lot of the attention at first. So I found a way to get attention by being really good kid, by being really good in school, by being really good in sports, by performing well. So I started associating love, connection, attention, acceptance to being really good at something.
Yeah.
So you guys, there's other layers to my depression, but that was a lot of it. I remember going on the track in fight or flight thinking, if I don't win, I'm going to lose someone's love. You guys, I know that sounds kind of over the top, but that's really the way my brain was thinking. I learned this from a young age. By the way, I had great parents. It's the way I was taking things in when she was sick. So
Yeah.
everybody has their story, and I'm going to encourage all of you that maybe don't understand that to step back and ask questions to people that have been there, that have quote everything.
Right.
Because when we start looking at all of us truly at the end of the day do have a lot of great things. No
Yeah.
matter how low you are, we have so much to be grateful for. But at the end of the day, when you shame yourself for feeling crappy about something because of whatever reason, that's when you pull in more into shame and the darkness, and Satan loves that.
Yeah.
And when you can actually settle in, speak vulnerably, your truth courageously, even if it starts with one person. I did it through a TEDx, you guys. You don't have to even do that. Find one person.
You don't have to be on this, stage with millions of viewers pouring your heart.
Exactly. But it starts there. And I will say this, going back to your original question, yes, I still have periods where I get activated and triggered. I've learned tools which we can share today to pull you back into alignment. Your story is your story. It's just appreciating it, hearing it when it's pulling you off track and pulling you back in. There's all kinds of reasons, everyone, why people have depression, why people are struggling. I encourage you to have empathy, step back, look at your story, and then we can help each other and open up and really have true conversations about mental wellness, emotional wellness. You guys, it's the number one reason why people go to doctor's offices now. I'm a practitioner by trade. It's not even back pain or physical stuff. It's like, I am doing horribly. This is global, you guys. Number one reason, global. Suicide rate is off the charts with young adults. I'm telling you guys, this is glaring. So it doesn't matter your background. It is not biased to your color, your background, your experience. I'm telling you, if you're feeling it, step out, one person to talk about this. And then you have people like us that can support you, give you tools to pull you back in this abundant, aligned state. But it starts with you admitting it and feeling the yuck and going from there. And once you do, you become really empowered. It's hard. You guys, for all the athletes out there, just think of when you're working out. You feel the burn, but you know there's something good on the other side. The same thing with this type of work, everyone. When you go to that dark hole, it's painful. It is painful in a different type of pain. But if you're willing to go there, the amount of acceleration in your life that you're going to see personally, professionally, money, relationships is just unreal. So I encourage you to go there. Take one step today, you guys. One step.
Man, that's so true. I was just on a coaching call, and, she's a high performer. She's in the corporate arena, and she's like trying to, manage this team of 120 people. And she thinks it's all about setting the right expectations, which is important, but when we got down to it, I asked her, do you trust yourself? And she just lost it.
Yeah.
Because it really does go all the way back to those internal stories that we've been telling ourselves. And so I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it matters.
Yeah. And I love that you just said that. It's funny. I was just on a group coaching call that I was leading last week, and we were talking about, I'm a leadership coach, you guys. I'm a speaker and a high performance leadership coach for entrepreneurs and just high performing leaders. And one of the things we talked about, I call them the 12 next level leadership traits. And one thing I challenged them to do, and it was based on one of the traits, and it's be 100% honest with yourself and 100% honest with other people for 1 week. And they're like, well, that's easy. I'm like, really? You guys followed up next week. And you guys, this was not about shaming, but you guys, this is, if you want to be next level in your faith, what Julianne just said, it's brilliant. And by the way, most of us suck at it.
Yeah.
Most of us really suck at it, but at first, but once you actually are aware of it, even me who's done a lot of work, you guys, I did this a week, like a year ago for like a week. I was like, ooh, I don't want to tell that person. She just asked me a question and I'm afraid she's going to reject me because I have some feedback that probably she won't necessarily receive. I'm feeling bad about this, but I'm not being honest about what I want in life. You guys, I'm telling you, it's hard, but my gosh, it allows you to see who you are. And if you're not being 100% honest with yourself, my depression, I was avoiding compensating with performance, you will finally self implode. So might as well start now by
Yes.
doing the work where it feels crummy before waiting till you're on the ground. Sometimes that is necessary. I've been there, you guys, but a lot of times it's not. If you're just willing to sit with the yuck and go, what areas am I not willing, next level leadership traits, that I'm not willing to be honest with myself in, or for that matter, be honest with other people. One of my depression things is I was scared of being abandoned.
Mm.
I would just compensate and be a people pleaser. People would ask me my opinion. And I'd say, I would honestly be honest because I'd lie. I'm like, yeah, that looks great. Or I didn't want them to leave me. And then I felt yucky about it because I'm lying to them. And
Right.
you guys, I'm telling you, it's such a great mirror. And when you go, wait a minute, if I do things in love and light and through God, the rest will take care of itself. So I think that's such a great point, Julianne. And one thing I say is next level leadership traits. I don't believe leaders, they have all the systems, but they're not willing to be honest with themselves or with their team or navigate. One thing I teach is communication with your team and navigating tough conversations and things like this. Are you going to be honest with your team? Whether it be, I'm not doing well, team, or you're not doing well. Let's find a way to navigate it. So it's just one of those things that I think, as you work through going to your next level in faith, going to your next level that God has for you out there, it is one of the biggest traits I say, other than really dealing with your wounds and your dark spots. And that's what coaching is for, but
Right.
also really being super honest with yourself. And it's hard, you guys, but when you do it, it gets really empowering because then you realize you have a lot of control. You have a
Yeah.
lot of control. And then all of a sudden your money and your impact takes off. So I think that's really important for people to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, I just keep hearing this gentleness. Like you have to have this, and you haven't even said the word, just like the way you're talking around what we have to go through and this way of gentleness within ourselves.
Yeah.
Being okay with sitting in it and being gentle with yourself and loving towards yourself during that time. Because the truth is, we're feeling the feelings anyway. And even if we're like suppressing the junk out of them, they're still in there, they're energy, and energy doesn't go away. And so
No.
we either have to allow that energy to be expressed in like a healthy form, which is crying or, running or whatever it is that's going to help get it out.
Yeah.
And, so let's talk about a few of the things that you have done practically. You talked about, you changed your nutrition to really start healing your brain. And so what are some of the things that you help guide people through?
Yeah, I think that's great. You guys, so as a practitioner of an integrated physical therapist of 2 brick and mortar businesses, we did deal a lot with the physical and mental, emotional. I integrated it. I was very comprehensive. I don't care if it was a high level athlete, a woman with hormonal issues, military. I used to treat a lot of with PTSD. We incorporated all areas because you can't. Okay, everything touches everything. We are here as spiritual beings, but we are using our physical body.
That's
Okay,
right.
so from when we're looking at if you're really struggling with depression, okay, first and foremost, believe it or not, you guys, you do want to look at your diet. It's the number one thing that actually helped me. There are a lot of things that we eat in our diet without going into too much detail, but that we either can be allergic to. I'm highly allergic to gluten, and it was really storing inflammation in my brain. It was literally making me crazy, you guys. And I mean that not that that is with you, but you
Right.
really want to look from a nutritional standpoint. Remember, food doesn't just affect your physical symptoms, like you might have bloating after eating some
Right.
of this. And by the way, it could be healthy food that you're just allergic to. So getting in contact with, and I have many, if you guys want that, nutritionist to do blood work to see what your diet needs to be and making sure you're being supported that way because it affects you not just physically, mentally. It was game changing for me, number one. Number two, I'm a huge believer in body work. Okay. A lot of people don't like the word like energy work, but there's a lot of body work out there that addresses the brain
Yeah.
as well as the physical body. And when you're getting work done, body work, and again, you guys, I have several ideas of that. I do several different types of body work that harmonizes the brain, the mental, emotional, and the physical together that helps decrease inflammation and harmonizes. So I'm a big believer in body work as well. That's what I did for a living. Anybody I coach, I encourage people to look at your diet and get a body work specialist in their area if they're not in my area.
Yeah.
And then the third piece is what you guys can take today, like that I've learned from tools and templates I've taken in my certifications and the things that have worked for me to really help rapidly transform and rewire your brain from a mentally emotional state. The biggest thing I tell people all the time, if you want to win in this life, if you want to go next level in your faith, you want to go next level in your life, you have got to learn to emotionally regulate. Okay. Because life is life. You guys, I don't care if you're in depression or you're doing well. Life will always throw you a curveball. Sometimes small, it's like a bad email or a bad conversation with a friend. Sometimes it's something big, you guys, like a death in the family or you lose your job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that's triggering you is going to bring, quote, right? Emotions. I don't care what they are. Anxiety, fear, anger, frustration. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Learning how to regulate your emotions and get back into the game, into alignment where God wants you to go is key. So how do you do that? Everyone who's like, how do you do that, Jennifer? Okay. I know Julianne does this too. I do this a lot. We dig in really deep to really rewire and allow you to regulate more quickly. But I can give you guys some tools today that'll help you kind of start during that moment to kind of give you a little traction to regulation.
Yeah. Pause before you do that, Jennifer. Pause before you do that. Because I want like to bring it home. One of the ways that I started becoming very aware of when my emotional well-being was not well, is as simple as traffic.
Yes.
How willing I was to let people merge in front of me, like just these little simple things that once I learned the things that were triggering me and bringing out these emotions of irritability, that's what I would say. I'm just irritable. I'm in traffic, blah, blah, blah. But it was in those day-to-day things that are happening every single day. And if you're allowing them to get you every single day, start there, like really look at what's bothering you every single day, even if it's just like an irritant, you know what I mean?
100%. And I love that you said that, because a lot of times when I say emotional regulation, if some of you are dealing with severe depression right now and it's about around something big, starting with something big can feel too big. Okay.
Right.
That's okay. It's just like when we set goals for our clients, maybe their goal is 6 figures, 7 figures by the end of the year, but maybe we need to start smaller so your brain can create a little safety around a small step. So I love that you said that. And I would 100% agree with you. All of you, you don't have to start with a big trigger that just spirals you. Start with something small. Like she just said, maybe it is traffic. Maybe it's just an annoying email you got from someone. Maybe it's a conversation that didn't go well with a family member, but it wasn't like overly deep, but still was irritating for you. This is where you can start using this tool. Number one, people actually pay me a lot of money for me to say this, you guys. Pause. We spend, I know you guys can't see this right now, so much on our phone. We spend so much time thinking about the next thing we need to do. We spend so much time diverting from what's going on. We don't like the feeling. So we do everything. I don't care what you guys choose your thing. I don't care if it's phone, social media. I don't care what it is. We all know we have something, probably phone, most likely. Instead, hold back, take a deep breath. And you guys put a timer on your phone and say, I'm willing to pause in this moment and say, why am I being triggered? Why am I, you guys, even without all these high performance tools that Julie and I can give you, just by pausing, your brain starts finding solutions to your question. You guys, it does. When you ask, why am I feeling this? Keep asking, why am I feeling this? And then it goes deeper. Why am I feeling that? Okay, why am I feeling that? By sitting with it, guess what your brain does, everyone? It starts realizing, wow, he or she is not running from this. She's not saying it's a fight or flight, unsafe moment. Okay, I will give you an answer why I'm feeling this way. And you start dialoguing with your brain. All of a sudden, you will get to the deeper why. It's probably not about the traffic, just
Right.
to be honest, you guys. You finally get to the point that it was something deeper, and that's okay. Once you get to that something deeper, everyone, continue to sit with it for another 30 seconds. Okay, this is why. And then what I want you to do is go outside and move.
Yeah.
Okay, what I mean is, I don't care if it's dancing, I don't care if it's a 10-minute walk, I don't care if it's yoga out in the sun. If it's snowing out, then do yoga inside in this, while you're looking outside and just gently. I'm not talking exercise, everyone, like 10 minutes, move. I've gone outside on my lawn and done somersaults and jumping jacks and dancing just to move the
Yeah.
emotion through, because you may not have tools yet to go, okay, this is why, Jennifer, why I'm feeling like why I'm really, it's not about the traffic. That's okay. Now move the emotion through so your brain again gets that you're okay with just moving it through. You guys, just by doing that, just a hair, if not a lot, you start feeling a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, now maybe I have energy to go back in and do one phone call for my business or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you get momentum. Then you start doing something else. And that right there is going to give you confidence. Like, wow, I just mastered my ability to take something that didn't feel good, that could have stalled, which happens all the time, everyone.
Right.
Emotions stall our day
Yep.
because we don't want to deal with them. And then we aren't productive in the things we
Right.
know we're supposed to do for the world. Just doing this will give you traction again to get back on your game. Now, there are higher performer, deeper tools, everyone. Connect with Julian and I that absolutely, if it's still around, usually there's some type of trauma response, a
Right.
cording that's going on. That's okay. But
Mhm.
just starting this will create some traction, and then reaching out, you guys. I always have coaches, always, for this
Always.
for this very reason, everyone. And
Always.
it's not just plugging everyone. I
Right.
would be remiss not to say that to you, that you wonder how I continue to be high level, go next level, Julianne, in my faith. Yes, emotion regulation. I will say this on any podcast every day of the week and twice on Sunday. You've got to get that. These tools will help you, everyone, but there's going to need to be more help, especially with a lot of us that have other trauma in our
Right.
past. Coaching is going to help you move even more at an accelerated rate so you can regulate that emotion and move on with your day. When you know how to do that, everyone, oh man, you become unstoppable in your business, in your money, and most importantly, what God has for you
Right.
to give to the world right now. Emotionally regulate, my friend.
Oh, that's so good. And that's, we want to be cognizant of your time, Jennifer. And I just, a mic drop like that. It's so powerful and it seems so simple, but sometimes, most often, some of the simplest things are the hardest to do because we tend to overanalyze and get stuck and feel like, oh, well, this is too easy. Well, if you're not doing it, right? Because we'd be like, oh, I've heard that before. Okay. But if you're not doing it, you need to hear it again. Like
Yeah.
we really need to hear it again and start absorbing it into our life and allowing yourself the pause and to take
Yeah.
a deep breath
I
and to
think what
really
helps
focus.
some people, Julianne, they're like, I've heard this before, Jennifer. And I'll say this because you guys, I am left and right brain. I'm a science person and I'm an energy person. I'm intuitive, but I also believe in results. Like you
Yeah.
guys, you're a full human being. Access both sides. But I will say at the end of the day, you might say, yeah, Jennifer, emotional regulate. Yeah, I get it. But I'm still struggle. I'm here to tell you, everyone, you're going to feel pain whether you decide to take care of the problem or not.
Right.
Either one is going to give you some discomfort.
Yeah.
So my question always back to you is, do you want to have pain navigating a journey that will actually, as you move through it, take you to levels you never imagined, or stay in pain in the
Right.
same space you've been? Most
Right.
people say, well, yeah, if they're both painful, I choose this. I'm like, well, great. Just know that some of this navigation will be painful.
Right.
This dark spot that we were talking about at the beginning of this podcast that propelled me to the next level of my faith and ultimately my career and how I connect with people. You guys, I had to make that decision. I'm like, well, this is going to be hard. Doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path. And it's actually probably going to be pretty painful. But
Yeah.
if you guys are willing to take that step and know both sides are painful, then you're like, to me, for all of you, it's a no brainer, right?
Yeah.
Well, I choose this. reach out to people, reach out to coaches, get the people in your corner, support you, emotionally regulate, go to that deep, dark side to propel you to the light that you truly are and be next level, because all of us have that opportunity. All of us do.
Right. Yeah. And it's so good because I mean, that is what glorifies God the most. Like we were designed to be able to glorify him in our unique journey and our unique story. And if we stay stuck in that shame and that, like, that's the enemy winning, and so to come through it, I mean, I just think about Abraham and taking Isaac to the altar, like he had to go through it. Can you imagine the torment that man had as he's walking to this altar of his own, like his beloved son, and just that torment that he was feeling, knowing that why does this have to be what I have to do? This is hard.
100%.
And we say like we need our miracle. The miracle occurred once he went through it. And that's what people have to really grasp, is that deep dark place is really a catalyst. It is that propellant that you were talking about to reach your next level.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Love it. Go through it, everybody. We all have, and guess what? You're going to survive.
That's right.
The cool thing is, you're going to be more than surviving, and we wouldn't be here on this podcast if we didn't believe that and we weren't living stories of that. So I love that you shared that, Julianne. Love it. Love it.
Thank you, Jennifer, so much for being here. What is a way that people can connect with you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm the most active on Instagram, everybody, and that's at the Jennifer Watson. If you have questions about this podcast, don't hesitate to DM me. If you're interested in working with me or even having just a connection with me and letting me hear your story, I'd love to connect with you. I want to see all of us get to that next level in all areas of our life. I am active on LinkedIn as well at Jennifer Watson Leadership, but again, most active on Instagram. And I do have a mastermind I'm starting beginning of May to help entrepreneurs and leaders activate their voice, speak their truth, to accelerate their profit and impact. So if you guys are interested in actually navigating all environments and learning how to speak well and shift the environment to your favor as entrepreneurs and leaders, I got you.
I love it. I love it, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate your time and your honesty and your just dedication to really help people live into the best versions of themselves. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Remember, the best version of you begins on your next level of faith. Bye for now.